I did the countdown music. It's so addictive, isn't it not? How art thou? How are y'all doing today? Welcome back. It's time for the Comics Talk with yours truly, Reverend Sully, at your dojo for tactical and practical spirituality. That's right. Hey, JK, good to see you out there. Hi. Thanks for coming. Thanks for dropping by. And you know, it's we're doing our live stream today. That's right. It's from our Boston studios, which is down the street from the corner. Recorded before a live studio audience of my stuffed animals. This is my executive producer, a Pikachu, and over here in the production booth, keeping track of the cameras and the microphones, and making sure that the crafts table is always stocked full of good stuff for the talent. That's right. I got primo access to the craft table here. You know what I mean? They run a really good production. I'm just the talent. I read down whatever Pikachu writes on the show notes, the copious amounts of show notes, and I have to decipher this mind that gives such awful Palmer method scribble. What's up, James? Good to see you. Hello there. Thank you. Please subscribe. That's what is up. It's a direction in the sky. Prices of meat. The price of meat has just gone up and your lady has just gone down. Look here, brother. Who you jiving with that cosmic debris? Now, is that a real poncho or is that a Sears poncho? Don't you know you could make more money as a butcher? So don't you waste your time on me. Don't waste your time on me. That's from Frank Zappa. And also he had backup singers on that album, which was Tina Turner and the Ikettes. This is true. It's rock and roll history. And we're here to talk about comic books. This is right. This week's comic books. What's on the agenda for today's episode in our live stream, our weekly comics review? Well, first things first, I brought some beer and I brought some pizza. I made some pizza, and this is a homemade pizza with homemade sauce, homemade dough, and I didn't make the cheese. I didn't cut the cheese either. Who cut the cheese? That's right. Awesome. Thank you so very much. And yeah, don't do that on camera or something. There are like some things that you don't do on camera, like pick your nose, pick your butt, pick other people's noses, pick other people's butts, or a camel toe. I mean, that's personal stuff. I mean, you're on your own for that stuff. Okay? Especially you, Pikachu. Hello, good afternoon, Lane Kramer. Good to see you. Hope everyone's doing okay. Hope you're doing okay too. Cheers. Slanche. I hope that doesn't get me demonetized. Demonetized for today's episode because you're imbibing the devil's juices over there. That's right. And also, yeah, I brought pizza. Yeah, I made some pizza. You know, I'll be actually tomorrow. I'll do a short. It's called an ASMR meditation, pizza dough meditation number 1. You know, awesome. What'd you get? Finally got to the JK. Finally got to the local comic book shop. Picked up Boy Wonder and Grievous Winter Ember. How'd you like Boy Wonder? I liked it. I thought that was a good one. You know what we're going to do? We're going to talk about this week's comic books that we read. Most of them I read on the high seas in what I call my digital pirate chest. I read, no lie, 22 different funny books this week. 14 Marvel, 7 DC, 1 Skybound. And I also got two crowdfunders that came in the mail this week. We're gonna do a little pseudo unboxing because I already took them out and I already looked at them. You know, I already read them. They were good stuff. But we also like to play What's in the Bag? What's in the bag? This is the bag of funny books that I got from my local comic book shop this week. This is my pull list. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 different titles on my pull list. And it has got all my information on there. So I am not showing you my pull list. This is a piece of paper. Nonetheless, this is a bag full of funny books that I get from my local comic book shop once a week. And we'll get into that near the end of the episode after we review the comics that we got in our digital pirate chest. And let's see. Lane Kramer says, my only release this week was Green Lantern number 11. Really loving it. Didn't make it back home with issue before finishing it. With a big smile and sticking his tongue out. And JK found it charming. Boy Wonder, I believe. And I read it at all the red lights before I head home. Yeah, speaking of red lights, to talk about Sinestro. We'll talk about that at the end because that is in my poll list. Yeah. And let's see. I didn't get one either. No, I missed out on Flash Zero. It was Flash issue 0, right? They still do 0 issues, don't they? Oh, we have a question from Lane Kramer. So, Eric, do you own any Absolute Editions? The answer is no. I own none. Would there be any out there that I would partake of? Maybe Absolute Hush. But I do like floppies. See, I'm into floppies. I look at the Absolute Watchmen. I mean, that would be great. But I like the original coloring, and there's only 12 issues of Watchmen, and I think that's on my list. So instead of getting like Absolute Watchmen, I'm going to focus my energy on getting those 12 floppies instead, because it's the ads, and it's just the way that it's that Baxter paper too, and the way that the ink adheres to the back, and that's just there's so much to paper and coloring in comics, like especially in the Copper Age and in like the early modern age too, but also so let's get to it. Let's see. And we're also going to talk about the Eisner Awards. This year's Eisner Awards nominations are out and released, and we're going to talk just a little bit about them near the end of the episode. I'll give us something to talk about after the reviews, after we run out of comics to talk about. Yeah, I will say I had one complaint this week. DC put out a Superman Volume 2 out, but as a regular trade, not as a hardcover like they did with Volume 1. Yule had to listen to me complain about this yesterday. Well, Yule is a saint for putting up with you, Mr. Lane. I'm kidding. No, that's awesome. Lane has a great relationship with Yule Carter that they speak sometimes on the phone, because we're all old people, and that's that used to be an ancient communication device before texting came along. Hello, Dwayne Muth. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Thank you so much for dropping in. That encyclopedic, knowledge of yours. I love it. This is we all bring so many things to the table. Yeah, huh? And yes, sir. Saintly to listen to me whine. Ain't that cool? And so cool. Good to see everyone out there. Let me have another swig of this beer, this ice cold cerveza. It's a Miller Lite, a tall boy, a pounder, as we call here in Boston. A pounder. Get it? It's a 16-ounce beer, a pound, and you pound it. It's a pounder. You get it there? Sizzle chest there. Tough guy. Chowder head. Tablet jockey, whoever the heck you are. I get 2 accents, you know that. Let's start alphabetically from the top. From A, we've got Aliens Black, White, and Red number 4, which completes the Jackson Lansing, the Lansing and Kelly 4-parter that connects this. Let's look at some fucking comic books for fuck it. Let's look. Let's peek. Peeking with Pikachu. This is what we're going to rename this show is Peeking with Pikachu. We're going to be peeking at some pirated comics here. You know, it's black, white, and red. This is black, white, and blood, not black, white, and red. Black, white, and blood, and it's anthology. You know, a porn sack, Pitchy Show it wrote one of these, and this one was pretty decent. You know, Utopia Part 4 by Kelly and Lansing. You have Hide and Seek by Brian Hill, with art by Chris Cross, and then you have Mother by Pitchy Show, who's also doing Man's Best on Boom Studios, and apparently is a big time editor. You know, and here we have just our information super dump. Elaine is sick of these. Yeah, it's kind of kitschy, you know. I'm still craving those old Casanova books that were in 3 colors, black, white, and then 1 subdued color. And so Darwin Cook did that too. When he did his Parker adaptation. Those were fucking brilliant. If you like crime, noir, gritty stuff, Parker by Darwin Cook. It's just amazing stuff. Kehi Wiltu, Demegdama. That's Deshe Meshka. That's the only Gaelic I really know. As I learned that from my grandma, who was from Sligo. So someone from Sligo, I said, yeah, Kehi Wiltu. And they're like, oh, you're from Sligo? I'm like, no, my grandma was. So it's like when you can tell who's from where in Ireland by the way that they say, how you doing? Kehi Wiltu. And yeah, and Demegdama that's the response. And then Deshe Meshka means he is drunk. And that one is for Grandpa on weekends. Oh, Grandpa's a little Meshka. My grandpa's with us every episode. I hope you know this. That's Joseph Patrick O'Sullivan, my grandpa. He's with us every episode. Yeah. And, Lane's got an announcement to make. We're going to share this and pimp this. He will be on a stream tonight, I think. We are going to be doing official announcements when giveaway of a Phoenix and Jean Grey statue by Sideshow Collectibles. You donated the 1K statue for it. Wow. Interesting. What kind? Is it like you got a link to an image at Sideshow? Like, is it like classic Jean Grey? Is it green Phoenix? Is it dark Phoenix? Is it the white Phoenix of the White Hot Room, which is one of my favorite Jean Grey Phoenixes? That comes from, I think that comes from like issue 154 of Grant Morrison's New X-Men. You got art by Phil Jimenez on that, I think, or is that Mark Silvestri? You know, it's so long ago, so many beers, so many good cold ones, huh? Yeah, but Alien Black, White, and Blood. So it has 2 colors. It has red, and then it has that neon green. Because Xenomorph Blood is neon green. Here is one you could avoid. Spider-Man Blood Hunt. And this, this spins directly out of Amazing Spider-Man number 49, because ASM has to change gears and go back to its own story, because it's having its issue number 50 next week, and they're starting the Spider Goblin story. And I think if you've been reading ASM, then I think that it's going to be Ben Reilly who is going to be this Spider Goblin after what happened, I think, in issue 48 with him and Hallows Eve, and the Goblin Queen and that whole thing. Yes, I've been reading Zeb Wells' ASM. Yes, I love. Excuse me, John Romita Jr.'s art. This would be better put as a Heroes for Hire story and not really a Amazing Spider-Man. It's Misty Knight and Colleen Wing, and they're pretty much the heroes for the She-Ros for Hire, in a way. MCU, MCU. Did you hear? Star Wars is dead. Star Wars is dead. That's a joke. But yeah, Amazing Spider-Man Blood Hunt number 1, 2, and 3. I mean, buy them at your own risk. I mean, are they going to enhance the Blood Hunt story? I'm just getting Blood Hunts 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 red bands, polybagged from my LCS on my pull list. I'm in strictly for the Pepe Larraz artwork. I love Pepe Larraz. I mean, they blew my doors off when with Big Game and Mark Miller. That was amazing. Carnage. This was okay. You know, it's just it's a lot of this is just a lot of fighting, and it's a for me, like this, and even Miles Morales, these are like really kind of competent Marvel superhero books for 2024. Like someone that came out of, you know, the 70s and 80s, out of the Bronze Age and the Copper Age. And, you know, I don't mind Torrin Grunbeck's Carnage overall. I think it's pretty good. And it actually knows when to go over the top and become super gory as well, because it is Carnage. It is a horror magazine in a way. This is one of the most interesting comics. I should have picked this up. I didn't. Sometimes I read it and it was fine. I loved it. I really did. It's a one-shot. It's a giant-sized one-shot with art and story by Sanford Green and art by and story with Jonathan Hickman. It's about Dr. Doom, and it's called Doom, issue number 1, giant size. It goes for $6.99. It's 54 pages of story and art. And it's just this art is really amazing. I'm loving it. Here, I'm going to blow this up to 400% so we can look at some of this art. Like this really good shit. You know, you see this pixelation in that? Living on borrowed time. It's like we start in medias res, and there's Dr. Doom, and he's floating around in space, and somebody's looking for him, and it turns out to be, you know, Valeria Richards, you know, who brings her uncle back to life for one final go at a super hungry, almost zombie-like Galactus. And I just loved the art in this. And the story's a little confounding, and but damn, this is all full of just really good art. Really enjoyed this. Full of hand-drawn onomatopoeia. Indeed. Let's see. Slide. There's the sideshow. Let's see. I have to. I'll figure it out. Yeah, but this was fun, and this was just not much to it. It was just like, look at that page, look at that panel, it's a splash page that's been, you know, broken into panels, and this was just some good shit. And about an Earth that failed at the feet of Galactus. It's good stuff. I'm trying to get away to oh boy, no, none of that. Let's see if I can. I can't highlight anything in there. I'll have to come back at that in a couple of minutes. Yeah, and speak of the devil, it's Miles Morales Spider-Man by Cody Ziegler. And it's Sibling Day. And it's Miles and his giant clone Shift take his little sister out. You know, and also Ms. Marvel shows up. One of Miles's besties. And apparently they're going on a date. So Miles might be hooking up with Kamala Khan. You know? Yay. I don't mind Cody Ziegler's Miles Morales title. It's fine. It's perfectly, like I said, this should be the comic book you give to young people because it's hip. It's got modern techniques. And I mean, I find all the ingredients there. I mean, seriously. There's Ms. Marvel, Mutant Menace, 3 of 4, I believe. And this is House of the Fall of the House of X. And it's also co-written by Imam Vellani, who plays Kamala Khan in the live action Ms. Marvel show. And yeah, it's just, you know, that there were Ms. Marvel, Miles Morales, and Carnage were actually better than some of the other comics that were in here, and we're gonna get to that. So, Ultimate X-Men #3 by Peach Momoko, story and art. We're gonna put a pin in that, and we're gonna talk about that when we get to what's in the bag. Star Wars Mace Windu. I am rooting for Star Wars books. I love Star Wars books. Do I like what's currently available to us? Not so much. But, I mean, some of them are pretty okay. Most of them are not. Okay, and this is the last issue of 4 of 4. Pretty much done. This was done back in February. Then issue 1 came out because February is Black History Month, and I'm here in America, and so you have an all-star lineup of African American creators: Mark Bernardin, George Janti, Dexter Vines, Dollhouse, Andrew Dollhouse is the colorer. You know, and these are just, you know, this is an all-star team of African American men. And with Mace Windu as the lead character in this, and I usually like George Janti's work, you know, and I'm just finding this, you know, it's okay, you know, it's not the best, and I really felt like this landed flat for me. It wasn't the best. It wasn't the best use of my time, but I just I read it. It was free. It was in my pirate chest here, you know. Dave Michelini's Venom: Separation Anxiety. He's done a couple of these already. It's like Venom set in the early days. You know, I would love if there was one of those. They do a lot of these 0.1 issues these days that are like limited runs, and they at least have the decency to tell you this takes place before Uncanny X-Men 237 or something like that. You know, I'm thinking about Madripoor Nights, which we'll be reading a little bit later. We'll be talking about a little later. But this is Dave Michelini, who's a classic writer, wrote a lot of Venom, and so. But overall, this wasn't made for me. I've never been a Venom fan. We've got Weapon X-Men 4 of 4, written by Christos Gage, drawn by Ildre Sinar, and this is about a multiverse team of Wolverines, of different Logans, and that's been brought together by a form of gene. And good calling. Well, maybe that's what, you know, I don't know exactly. Hey, Phil the Kill, how you doing, buddy? I always hated the issue 0 thing that would come out after like issue 5 or some such. They don't do that anymore, though, thankfully. I like issues number 0 when especially for Free Comic Book Day. So I'm like, was Jeremy Adams' Flash on Dynamite? Was that in issue number 0? You know, I don't know. Onslaught, a rage-filled entity with Omega-level mutant powers, is on the warpath across the multiverse. A Phoenix Force host from an alternate Earth, Jean Grey, has recruited 5 Wolverines from different realities, each with healing factors, adamantium claws, and their own strengths, as well as their own weaknesses, which Onslaught seeks to exploit. After their last encounter ended in a temporary truce, Onslaught secretly offered to send Earth 807128 Wolverine back in time before he was tricked into killing the X-Men, an act which has haunted him ever since. But on one condition, he has to help Onslaught stop Phoenix and the other Wolverines first. And this is the old man Logan that had to kill everyone and all the heroes. Apparently, it was Mysterio that duped him into killing all the X-Men. Yep. And yeah, this is Weapon X-Men number 4. Then that happened. But we got 2 what ifs this week. What If Aliens number 3, which is written by Hans Rodinioff and with art by Guillaume Villanova and Yen Nitro. And this is only, since you look at these concepts by Paul and Leon Reiser. Paul Reiser, who played Carter Burke in Aliens. And what if Carter Burke had lived? And, so, yeah, it's just, yeah, here we go. Yeah. What if Carter Burke had lived? Yeah. But it wasn't terrible. I mean, this was. Again, what if Venom 4? It's more of like Moon Knight. If Venom, if Moon Knight got a piece of Venom too, and then inside of his head, he's like, there's a Venom that thinks it's Loki, but Loki's really not a character in this. It's more Moon Knight than anything else. Wolverine, Madripoor Knights 4 by Chris Claremont, Salazar Lopez. See here, editor's note. This story takes place shortly after Uncanny X-Men 268. And so it's meant to, just, we got Chris Claremont, the writer back then too. And this is, it's okay. I don't think I think the art's okay, but I think the fight scenes are pretty flat, if that makes sense. See, look at this snit right here. Look at this. This is what I'm talking about when it comes to these cut and paste, drop and drag sound effects. Look at how, is it me or is that just awkwardly laid out? That looks like it's something chintzy and cheap about it. And just action adventure. Yeah, it's a beautiful day out there. There are kids playing. That's great. Issue 0 seems to have worked like an alpha and omega issues that do nothing. Issue 0s to me have been actually, for me, I have like 2 kind of flavors. One is just like info dump and full of like, it can be full of just like info dump and like sketch drawings and prototype stuff, and also reprints of previous material as well. And then there's another kind of issue 0, which is a new tale set in the past around the origin story of a character that brings a new dimension into something retconish to tell a new story in the current book. And the last Marvel book we got this week, it's got one more issue. It's X-Men Forever by Karen Gillan and art by Gilliam March. And I think this is like some kind of, I don't know. This is just, it's all confusing. It's all, it's about centering on Hope, Hope's mother, one of the Sinisters, yeah, I mean, it's about, this can't wrap up soon enough. And that's that for Marvel Comics With more detail on that gun. Which one? DC books this week. We got Action Comics 1065. I didn't get it. I passed on it. It's written by Joshua Williamson. It's like legitimately part 3 of House of Brainiac, and I hit the wall with House of Brainiac. I don't care anymore. I'm not going to buy it. Yeah, it's that simple. Yeah, it's going nowhere. It's exactly my feelings of Chip Zdarsky's Batman. There's nothing doing here. There's just Chip Zdarsky's Batman has been this constant, this ramping up of Batman versus Failsafe, and this is only going. So it's not going to pan out in Batman. It's going to pan out in the summer event comic, Absolute Power. So why bother being tuned into Batman? So I was giving House of Brainiac. House of Brainiac will do that same thing, because it's about leading up to the Brainiac Queen, her introduction, and so we know that Superman's not going to be able to reconcile this Brainiac threat. It's gonna happen inside the summer event, with Amanda, and they're like, you have Brainiac Queen, Failsafe, and Amanda Waller, who is using like a mesotypes of androids to combat superpowers. What happened was Amanda Waller was recently trapped on Earth 3 with Overman, Owlman, Superwoman, all of the the CSA counterparts, and realize like how dangerous these supers can actually be, and that we need to put a stop to all of them. That was an X-Men Forever book reference with the gun. Yes. Well, it was oversized, like, for Hope Summers, because, being Cable's daughter, you know what I mean? Carry a big gun, and the rest will follow, I guess. And, but yeah, I read Action 1065. It was okay. I like Joshua Williamson. It's fine, but I'm kind of all set with House of Brainiac. I'm sorry. I tried. I even got that tie-in issue, that one shot that was kind of a waste of money, and that Power Girl issue. That was just why did you do that to me? Make me, because it's a publishing initiative to get you to buy shit that you never would have bought as these fucking stupid tie-ins. Excuse my French. It's the whole purpose of it. And they got me on 2 unnecessary issues, Batman and Robin #9 by Joshua Williamson. See, Simone Di Matteo's art doesn't do it for me. And what was the other artist too? Other downloads. Let's look at Batman and Robin. We're gonna look at some art from a comic book. Let's look at a funny book. Why don't we? Why don't we? Share screen. No, it's window, not screen, this one. Here we go. Yes, here we go. This is some Simone DeMayo's art. It's done all the covers. Still Dawn of DC. And this is some Simone DeMayo art. And then we get a different artist when the focus goes to Damien in high school. Nicola Cismezja, artists from page 6 to 21, and Simone DeMayo 1 through 5 and 22 through 24. I think the art is terrible in this book. DeMayo's art doesn't work. It's beautiful, sure, but it's also very hyper digital. And here we go. And speaking of hyper digital, this shit looks like it was fucking scratched out on an iPad during traffic 5 minutes before deadline. I mean, look at that. Charmless. I mean, like, usually signage has better font than what's available on your Microsoft Word. I mean, look at that. I mean, this is just, I have no idea. Let's see. I don't even know what this is exactly. I mean, like, this art is terrible. I really look at those. Look at like those faces. Look at that. Look at the eyes. Look at that. This is all fucking. This is. And look at the look at the background. I mean, geez, we got 3 panels with no fucking backgrounds, and then this like this close up, a flat line. Look at that. No background. Barely background. No background. No background. Look at this. That was cut and paste detention. Look at this cut and paste shit. Look at this. Like, just again, overuse of that screen tone filter. Just, oh man, look at it. Those are hatching filters. Man, this is terrible. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be, bagging on your art skills, but it's like, this is like, oh, look at that. Does this possess dynamism? I don't think so. Gosh, what a terrible art. And you want to pay how much for this? What's the going price for this issue? Is this $4.99? Oh, it doesn't even say. I don't care. I'm not even gonna look it up. Let's see. Alrighty. We've also had Blue Beetle number 9. I like Blue Beetle. It's kind of like the DC equivalent of. I only have 2 beer. Sorry. There we go. Yeah, Blue Beetle number 9. Things it got going for it. It's young. It's kinetic. It's got an all Latino cast. I mean, of creators. It has a Spanish edition that comes out as well as its English edition. I like that. I approve of that. You should be selling. You should be trying to sell the shit out of DC Comics and Marvel Comics and crowdfunded comics. There should be like, where are your Spanish editions? There are 1 billion people, over 1 billion people in North and South America. And most of them speak Spanish. Exactly. Graduation day. Yeah, exactly. It was like power. It's like kind of like a Sentai team meets a light version of Neon Genesis Evangelion right now. We got here. I think the art let down foreshadowing elements of the story. Yeah, kind of. Yeah. I mean, DeMayo's art is it's okay, but it's just like, exactly. It's just, there's just so much digital fucking muck around with it. Yes. I just change that. Another log for the fireplace. I'll throw another Dan Slott comic on the fireplace. Of course. But Blue Beetle, it's that this should be the comic that people give to young people. Sinister Sons number 4 was lame, except for the last page, which had a nice reveal and kind of ties into what's going on over in Jeremy Adams' Green Lantern. And so it has like, I'll show you it. Hey, let's show you everything. Oh my goodness. Show you everything. Oh no. Let's see, where is it? Oh, and all the ads are just freaking Prez by Mark Russell, and let's put it on. Huh? Why not? That's an old title. And this is the Ramona Fraden tribute. That was nice. That's in the back of all of these. But here we go. What is that? That's a Sinestro. And he's a Red Lantern right now. He's full of rage. That's right. This is the best part of the entire book. And yeah, that's all I got. That's all I got for this. Seriously. Sinister Sons is a miss with me. Green Lantern number 11. Put a pin in that. Suicide Squad Dream Team number 3 came out this week. I've been raving about this every week. Every month it's come out. And we're going to put a pin in that. We're going to come back to that in just a minute. The last issue is Lansing and Kelly's Outsiders number 7. And which isn't all that bad. Donna DC trade dress. Anything? It's got the Batman logo on there because we have Batwoman in here. We've got the artist formerly known as Batwing in here, and Katie Kubert is the group editor, and Dan Abernathy's name is not here. And this is about the pieces coming together and Outsiders tying into Planetary. So we see Planetary for the first time. And this is a really interesting way to put this. So Chiquita Wagner, Elijah Snow, the drummer, and Ambrose Chase. And they are the 4 to counter the 4 that they were fighting against. And they are the archaeologists of the unknown, of superhero stuff. This was Warren Ellis's Planetary. And this is when the world changes. And Chiquita becomes the constant in this changing multiverse. The entire reality is about to what happens. See, being pulled out of the panels and into what's going on here. And see that? That's Flash. What happened there? Well, what happened at the end of Flashpoint was when Barry Allen finally fixed everything he broke. The Wildstorm universe as we know it came to an end. And was replaced with the New 52. And all those Wildstorm elements became incorporated into the New 52. So Wildstorm, there was no more Earth 50 or 51, I believe it was. There was only the one. There was the New 52 Earth, New Earth. I think, was it New Earth? Jeez, there's so many fucking crises and New Earths and shit. But and then comes the Rebirth, which resets everything again. And then reality shifts all around her once again. And then she notices, and she stops to have a normal life. She stops to have a boyfriend. And everything keeps changing around her. And then comes Dark Knight's metal and Dark Knight's death metal. And this is actually the strongest issue of all of them so far. I mean, I've liked the past couple of Outsiders. I don't want to be too pessimistic about Lanzing Kelly. I mean, they did a good job with Guardians of the Galaxy. That had a lot more to do with Kev Walker's art. And that Thunderbolts comic was fucking garbage. Let's have a bite. It's pizza and beer. Here we go. Lots of garlic. Here we go. And that's it for DC Comics this week. How about that? What's in the bag? What's in the bag? Here we are. It is the bag of comics. Let me wipe my hands again. I just had a slice of pizza. So yeah, so what's in the bag? This is the bag of, this is the ubiquitous brown paper flat bag that I get from my local comic book shop. Sometimes they give it to you in a plastic bag, such as this. Like Yule Carter of Fantastic Comics in Berkeley, California, because it's so rainy there that you don't want to, interrupt your, the integrity of your paper funny books with rain and moisture. That he sends me these, when I order from him. And you can find his deets in the details in the description of this show. If you need a local comic book shop in your life, reach out to Yule Carter of Fantastic Comics of Berkeley, California. You could be your very own mailbox away from having your own local comic book shop. What is in the bag? Let's see. We've got two. See, once a month, we got preview stuff. We got DC Connect. And look at this. This is Marvel free previews. Number 32. May. And this is for July 24th. July 2024 shipping. Look how thick this is. There are 128 pages. Sorry. And these are just previews. And this is free. Look at all. And it's just From the Ashes, X-Men #1, Jed MacKay, Ryan Stegman. Some preview art. It's like, we got X-Force from the Ashes. NYX. Phoenix. Here's one coming out. Aliens versus Avengers. This has got to be non-canonical. It's Jonathan Hickman. Esad Ribic was a really good artist. And it's Xenomorphs versus Avengers. I wonder if they'll have the latitude to kill any. This can't be continuity. And it can't be, there's no room for that. I don't think so. Like Predator versus Wolverine. I don't know how canonical that is. Are we supposed to take that canonically? What is canon anymore? We have this mini event coming up called Weapon Extraction. Here's your reading order. It's Incredible Hulk 14, Captain America 11, Fantastic Four 22, Spider-Gwen, The Ghost Spider, number 3, Immortal Thor, number 13, in August. You know? You got Wolverine Deep Cut. We have Life of Wolverine by Jim Zub, who's doing a really good work on Conan right now. So maybe this would be the one to give a chance to, you know. Lots of blood hunt shit. Lots of blood hunt shit. But look at this. All right. So Jerry Duggan is continuing on Invincible Iron Man. And maybe they get to keep the Emma Frost, Tony Stark marriage going. Get Fury is 6 issues long. There's annuals. And the annuals are having a crossover called Infinity Watch. That's pretty old school. Turkey's done. Let's throw another fire. Throw another Dan Slott funny book on the fire. Keep the fire going, please. It warms my feet and warms my heart every time I throw a Dan Slott or Donny Cates funny book on the fire. It warms my heart and it warms my toes. My fingers, too. You know, here, Alyssa Wong, Greg Pak, Tim Sheridan, for the fire. You are fit for the fire. We got Hulk 14. It's good to know that, you know, Nick Klein is staying on the book. You know, and yeah, and there we go. Just some Star Wars stuff coming. We got Star Wars Ahsoka coming out. We got Star Wars Inquisitors coming out. We got Star Wars Accounts Payable coming out. Hey, look, everyone, it's Luke and his gold lightsaber. Who we got down here? And I love these. Oh, that's a Doug. A particularly vicious Doug named Sebulba. These John Tyler Christopher action figure variant covers. I mean, I would buy them if I had any hope in these magazines, but no thanks. Look, they're trying to sell you Death of Wolverine again. Why? Why? It's a hardcover edition. For how much? $125 fucking dollars. Dude. You know, the Don Ryan Otley and Donny Cates omnibus for their Hulk run. $75. But still, it's like fuck you, Donny Cates. Seriously. I'm sorry. I hope you get better. I hope you have better days ahead of you. You know? But seriously, look at this. Marvel Masterworks. Reprints X-Men 101 through 110. 10 issues. That's $75 for this remasterworks. It's not even Masterworks, it's remasterworks. And I would just be happier getting the floppies. Seriously, that's and here we're pimping Hickman and Chichetto, Secret Wars 2015, House of X, Powers of 10, an Ultimate Invasion, an Ultimate Spider-Man. Also available by Jonathan Hickman. Yeah, Spider-Boy, fun the games. Spider-Gwen, smash, yays. Oh boy. This is 128 pages, and it's free. And it's free for me with my pull list. And then you have, this is a 3-parter. That's only part 2. But then you have Absolute Power here. Absolute Power, Ground Zero, number 1. Absolute Power, number 1. Absolute Power, Task Force 7, number 1. Absolute Power, Task Force 7, number 2. Absolute Power, Origins. Hey, how you doing, Adam Frey? Good to see you. Installing window treatments. Good for you. Screen windows. And Phil the Kill says, right, Eric. I was typing that I should buy the individual floppies for similar prices. As that X-Men collection. It would have all the cool ads and be in the original format. And I have a thing for just the way that the old newsprint would take to the ink and their coloring. I'm really big into that. I'm not, to have like modern recolorings or just to be on that glossy paper. I hear a lot of old graybeards like me, like saying like, oh yeah, the way the glossy paper takes to the modern ink, it's just like they're just not the colors just aren't what they kind of used to be in a way. Here's Batman 150. All right, coming up, and it's an absolute power tie-in. There we go, Waka Waka. Oh my goodness. But yeah, this is like the previews. Months in advance. Here we go. There we go. Yeah. What else was in the bag? What did we buy this week? Well, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 issues. I got G.I. Joe 306. And now we got is it Paul Pelletier on pencils. It's pretty good. We got the Andy Kubrick. Is it Adam Kubrick or Andy Kubrick? It's the Andy Kubrick. Yeah, Andy Kubrick's cover. He's been doing the covers. Great Snake Eyes. This is pretty good. Everything in this book is toyetic, meaning like they look like the toys. Everything looks like it should be. I love the Baroness and Destro and Zartan. I mean, everyone looks like their toys. And that's just, it's really cool. And it's fun. And I look forward to it every month. I got Suicide Squad, Dream Team, 3 of 4. I did. I also picked up issues 1 and 2. And this is a 4-issue mini. I'm into this because of the Eddie Barrows artwork, and it's just really awesome. I love his camera work. I love his faces. I love his hatching, his cross hatching. These are real pencils. This is real artwork. These sequential panels. This is. Don't be sleeping on this because you're scared because of Nicole Maines is writing it, and it's like you don't want to suffer the wokeness or suffer the messaging. It's barely, I mean, like I can see how it's barely there. Okay. It's engineered. Don't let that be like the end all be all of it. I mean, look, I love the trade dress. For me, this is classic DC. Countdown to Absolute Power. I don't care about Absolute Power, but I've been knee deep in so many DC crossover events and big summer events that, like this, at least has a look to it, an authenticity to it that, I like that stuff. It's very comforting. But the artwork in this elevates the story. The story is not all that bad. I'm telling you, it really isn't. Yeah, do it like this. All right. We've got Green Lantern number 11, which is really good. It's just Jeremy Adams consistently good with the Green Lantern. And we have a really nice, it says it's a House of Brainiac tie-in in the back. And it's Guy Gardner with, this is written by Jeremy Adams, but we got pencils by Kevin Maguire, who did the pencils for Justice League back in the late 80s. And Maguire's got a great style. And this is pretty funny. And it includes Bulfunga. Bulfunga's here. And every time you include Bulfunga in something, it's gonna be a hoot. Bulfunga was the the bounty hunter looking for Mogo and the Alan Moore, Tales of the DC, Tales of the Green Lantern Corps thing from the early 80s. It's really funny. And then comes Ultimate X-Men #3. And look, well, here's some ads. It's a Disney magazine. I mean, it's a Marvel magazine, so it's owned by Disney. So we have this cross-pollination stuff. So we have, what is this an ad for anyway? Listen wherever you stream music. User must have access to a major music streaming service to access playlist. Data rates may vary. It doesn't even say like a Spotify or anything. No, it just says to a major streaming service. Indeed. I hear you. Yeah. Dwayne. Marvel Masterworks was great back in the late 80s and throughout the 90s at $35. And then it was $50. And now my LCS gives me a great discount. But still? Exactly. I mean, is it worth it? I mean, I'm losing faith, steam, and hope in this. This is issue 3 of its opening arc. This is an X-Men story set in the new Ultimate Universe. It's very Japanese in flavor because we have Hope. I mean, we have Peach Momoko doing the story and art, and she's doing the story, and she is Japanese. So we have a translator translating the story. Seriously, straight, Zach Davison is, translating this, and it's pretty insightful into Japanese culture. I love these like little. At the end of these issues, she's got these, it's called lexicon, and these little things of Japanese culture that pop up all throughout the story. But now it's like it's boring. There are no costumes. There's barely any powers. There's no X-Men in this. If this is issue 3, and I'm kind of catching up with like what everyone else is saying about it, that it's boring. Where are the X-Men? What's going on here? And it's like, this is something should have happened more by now. So now we have 3 female heroic leads. And the only boys, one is a victim and one is a really creepy looking, that who's the big bad guy. Probably the host for the Ultimate Shadow King, you know what I mean? Seeing the body type and everything, and I had a lot of good feelings and hope and behind this, and this is just turning out to be a girls' comic book, a shoujo manga. This is just there's nothing going on in here besides. I mean, there's set up and there should be payoff to set up, and there is. In issue 1, you can give some leeway to, but this is issue 3, and something more should have happened by now. And I know, and this is going for a different style. It's a different story told, and I just find my faith wavering. I wish there was more. X-Men are a high octane action adventure comic book, team comic book, and with. I'm a struggle. I might drop this from my pull list. That is the truth. Because I'm just like, as much as I like Peach Momoko's work and I love her art, I mean, 3 issues already. Come on, give me some fucking action. Give me X's on belts. Give me a Cerebro. Give me a Danger Room. Give me some fucking Snick or some Zart. Like whatever, that onomatopoeia a Cyclops' optic blasts. I get it. But I might not be getting it soon. That you're trying to do something different, and it could be backfiring. Yeah, it could be too different. I mean, yeah. All right. That's it for beer. That's okay because it's a work night. I can only have 2. Kind of licking my own wounds here because it's like, oh, my hockey team, the Boston Bruins. It's like they is he already? Well, it's a new Ultimate Universe. This is true. I kind of getting better. So, what else is going on? Oh yeah, we've got two, count them, 2 crowdfunders that came through. Oh, okay. Good catch. I didn't even catch that. It's called Mimosa. This is a pre-rolled joint that you can get from your legal weed dispensary. What I do is I have a 1-hitter, and this is how you make your 1 gram joint last a week. You don't have to smoke the whole thing. You do it when you're ready, and have 1 hit. You have to burn. You have to waste weed. That's right. Adam Frey is a vault of dead characters. Yeah, exactly. You saw 3D Man, and you saw the old Human Torch, and what was this? Hold on a second. I smell some poo. I smell some poo-poo in here. We're talking shit. We're talking sports shit. What sports? Your Red Sox are coming back down to earth also. You had your Brady years. No one feels bad for y'all. Hey, no, the Brady years that doesn't really happen to anyone anymore. Well, exactly. Kansas City's got Mahomes, and he's like, what? How many Super Bowls has he been to? 4? And he's won 2? I mean, that's still pretty cool. Thank you, JK. Tell Kiddo we all said hi. Hope everything's doing well. And thank you so much for making some time to hang out with us. Seriously. It's always good to see you. And I'm glad that we can be, a pit stop in your day to be like, hey, let me just talk about comic books for a couple of minutes, It'll be good. Yeah. We're live on my channel right now. Oh yeah. Like I put on my own notification to my own channel to be like, hey, your show's on. I know. I'm just trying to help the algorithm pimp me. So what do we got here? What's in well, let's do a little kind of quasi unboxing. Because I've already unboxed this. This is the innards of a Gemini mailer. This is a Gemini mailer right here. This is most of your $10, the shipping and handling, and the Gemini mailer, which secure and safely transports your comic book to you. See, Gemini 2, the Gemini mailing, Gemini comic supplies. So it has an area here. This is what it looks like inside. So you can just properly have your comic book and maybe some add-on stuff in here too. But this is fiendish. There we go. Yeah, Mahomes has been he's 3 for 4. That's fucking impressive, man. Still, I mean, even Peyton, even Eli Manning, you know, he's got 2. Doesn't Peyton have 2? One in Indy and one in Denver. That's pretty good too. What was pretty good? This glow in the dark cover from Fiendish. I got the 24. Is this glow in the dark, or I think so? But if this is the 24-hour variant cover, and it's part of the Fiendish universe. We got story layouts and lettering by Irene Strukowski. Pencils and inks by Michael Rushbrook. This is a really good book. It's a floppy too. See that? It's got staple bound. So we got 2 staples. All right, this is a bona fide floppy. Put it on a nice paper. It's interesting. So you see the onomatopoeia, those sound effects there. They're you know, usually in the made up language that Rini made for the book. She made a map. She's got a runic language that she made up for this too. And also, I love Ragna. She's so cute. And that's Casimir. And I think they like each other. But they grow up. And so this is them when they first meet, you know. And it's nice. So I like Rini's stuff. I like her work here. And it came with a couple of, you know, I think these were the other covers. And they come with not just we got this like little, you know, this is a this happens in the story. This is like in the background. But she gave us trading cards too, playing trading cards. But in the back of the trading cards are hit points and stats. This is like baseball. You know, I've come across, you know, a lot of these trading cards that they just have like all, you know, other art and stuff in the back is just blank or just the trade dress graphic. But Irene put so much effort into this. I love that attention to detail. I'm not a gamer, you know, but what I grew up on baseball and hockey cards. I really respect the hell out of this. That is so cool. That is a what? A bandit skull. It's a trophy. Uh-huh. So, yeah. So, yeah, I've got all 3 issues of Fiendish so far. Irene's working on Fiendish Volume 3. She's hoping to do 1 a year. And if that is, you know, between content and creation, she's writing it. She's drawing it. She's inking it. She's lettering it, you know, and it's a lot of work. So it's not like the old days of the Marvel bullpen where you just have like you can crank out 3 different titles in 1 month. But yeah, Fiendish 2.5. It's a flashback scene and it enlightens us along the way. Let's see. I love some of those trading cards that would give the height and weight for a character, like the Beast, 5'0" and 450 pounds, 3% body fat and jacked. Yeah. And what else? Here's a good one. All right. This I got from Billy Tucci, Crusade Arts. This is an art book. This isn't a comic book really, but it's this is actually really cool. I love Billy Tucci. I got to meet him last year. Him and Debbie Tucci, his wife. Great people. I got to see him 2 days in a row at Boston Wicked Comic Con last year. And I got his Zombie Sama, Dorm of the Dead, Zombie Sama 2. And this is his St. Patty's Day exclusive edition of, it's called Private Commission. Lucky Clover, the Private Commissions of Billy Tucci. Signed by himself. And this is 35 of 39, I believe. And this is just all original Billy Tucci art. Now, Billy Tucci, you might know, he did She, S-H-I, She, it's been going on for 30 years on Image Comics. And I also got a lithograph of it. Her name is Lucky Clover. I'm Irish. My name's O'Sullivan. Look at her red hair, her curly red hair, and she's wishing on a 4-leaf clover, and she's got a wonderful shillelagh. And just like Billy learned his craft at the Fashion Institute of Technology, FIT, in Manhattan in the early to mid 1980s. And he draws, so he comes from the fashion industry. He's got a different eye to detail and to conventional beauty. He draws great feet. People can't draw feet sometimes. They're really hard to nail. Seriously. But yeah, I mean, like, this is great. I usually don't go for it. This was like the second tier, I think, like, and he signed it too. But I'm really happy with this. And so yeah, I got 2 crowdfunding. So like in the past 2 weeks, I got 3 crowdfundings in. John Malin's Godlike. I got Rainey's Phoenix 2.5, and I got this wonderful Billy Tucci work. I can hear his voice in this, and just like his attitude and his pluck and his joie de vivre in this, like, and it's a nice letter. And this is just commissions that he did. It's an art book. And dude, look, the Baroness. When did he make this? He did this in 2021. You can tell because he's got he did this in 2020. Yeah, I mean, here we go. Oh, sorry, let me just yeah, let's look at some art. Some wonderful Billy Tucci art. But just look at that. Like, just look at her form. Look at the flexion on her legs, the buttocks, the thighs. You know what I mean? The calves, the shoulder, the look in her eye. Is that a come hither look? Do you know what a come hither look is? You know what I mean? Are you still allowed to have the come hither look? But yeah, this is an art book, but it's Billy Tucci's art. I want an excuse to be able to buy, like, at least once a year from these creators. Like, look at that slave Leia. And with the choked out Jabba the Hutt. Ain't that cool? I love that. It's so awesome. He's got a couple of black cats in here. He's got Storm, my favorite X-Men. It's wonderful. Black cat. Because yeah, I mean, just he's got an eye for conventional beauty, for classic beauty, form, musculature, bust, rump, feet, hands, eyes, hair. I mean, he comes from the fashion world. He cut his teeth drawing fashion models to sell, clothes, makeup. You know what I mean? Just like this. Wow, what a wonderful pedigree he's got. And it's just, look, he's got Salamandroid, Art T-Bears, Whitney from Black and White. An interesting, Batman and Catwoman. She's getting unzipped out of her outfit, And there's a very that looks to be the pre-Gotham War kind of Catwoman outfit when she had those exposed armpits, which I never liked in the first place because I think Selene is too smart of a fighter to leave, a vulnerable part like that open to a blade weapon. Got some Dave Stevens Rocketeer. Got a little nudity over here, which is great. Zatanna and the Joker. And some She. And finally, this original character, Lucky Clover, before it was colored. I love that. That's what caught my eye. And I was so happy to back some Billy Tucci. And just because I'm looking forward to my next Billy Tucci offering that I'll buy. Hold on one second. Happy 420. Indeed. Well, what's next on the show? Let's look at our show notes. It's time to talk about the Eisner Awards. Y'all, you want to talk about the Eisner Awards? You really want to do this, Pika? You think this is appropriate content? You don't think we're going to get canceled on Twitter for doing this? I'm going to read this from, you guessed it, the Wiki. I never really watched Cartoon Kayfabe. I don't know. If they go back, I mean, Billy's he's 60 years old and he's been doing this for 30 years. I know he's good. He's embedded in the behind the scenes culture of producing comic books, and from I know he knows he Diamond people, of course, and like the Overstreet people. He was talking about the Overstreet price guide and the guide to grading comics, which he did the cover for Miss Fury. And sorry, you had to look at my big butt in my gut. But here, yeah, there's Billy Tucci. He signed that for me too. But yeah, I mean, he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be. He was like, he might have another Overstreet guide cover coming out. I think that's already been might have already been published. Yeah, he's a wicked chill dude. He's really awesome. But we have the Eisner Awards to talk about. Indeed, let's get to it. Let's share a screen because I love to read from wikis. That's right, wikis. The Eisner Awards, commonly shortened to the Eisner Awards, are prizes given for creative achievement in American comic books, referred to as the comic book industry's equivalent to the Academy Awards. Here you go. There's your Eisner Award right there. Let's go, little globe, huh? The awards are regarded by many as the most prestigious awards in the comics industry. They are named in honor of the pioneering writer and artist Will Eisner, who was a participant in the award ceremony until his death in 2005. The Eisner Awards include the comics industry's Hall of Fame. Nomination in each category are generated by a 5 to 6 member jury, then voted on by comic book professionals and presented at the annual San Diego Comic-Con held in July, usually on a Friday night. The jury often consists of at least one comics retailer, one librarian since 2005, and one academic researcher, among other comics experts. The Eisner Awards and the Harvey Awards were first conferred in 1988, both created in response to the discontinuation of the Kirby Awards in 1987. The Kirby Awards, presented from 85 to 87, voted on by professionals, and were the first awards since the Shazam Awards ceased in 1975. There was like a decade without any accolades. There was no Eisner Award ceremony or awards distributed in 1990 due to a widespread balloting mix-ups. And the Eisner Award ceremony has been held at the San Diego Comic-Con every year since 1991. It was announced in 2006 the archives of the Eisner Awards would be housed at the James Branch Cabell Library of the Virginia Commonwealth University in Richmond, Virginia. Indeed. The Eisner Awards are awarded in the following categories. 32 categories for works as of 2021. And why the librarian? They're foul out gatekeepers these days. Get them out. Yeah, I know a few in real life. Yeah, they're very lefty people. Yeah, they want to keep it's a part of their inherent bias, I think. They might see it, they might not care. They might, I know. But here we go. Here are the 2004 Will Eisner Comic Industry Award nominees. And Friendship is Forever by Sam Maggs and Keisha Okafor, and My Little Pony, the 40th. This is the best short story. The Kelpie by Becky Q. Cloonan. I can't root for you. Sorry. Thank you for the impersonal Twitter block. I know it doesn't mean much to you. It means something to me. And I can't root for you. Sorry. Lead the Leg. World's Finest Part 1 by Tom King and Belen Ortega. And Wonder Woman number 3. That would be the backup. The Trinity stuff. And Talking to a Hill by Larry Hancock. Okay. The best single issue or one shot, you've got Horologist by Jarrett Lee and Cross. You got Nightwing number 105 by Tom Taylor. You have an IDW book that was edited by Heather Antos. Hey, how's it going? Mo, salam, everyone. Good to see you. And tickets out tomorrow for Deadpool and Wolverine. Indeed. Way to go. I'll probably end up seeing it. Wow. What do I notice right here is an omission, a lack of Marvel Comics, and it won't be the last time you'll hear me say this. We have Star Trek Day of Blood, Shax's Best Day by Ryan North. That's on IDW. You have 2 Superman books. You have Joshua Williamson, who I will pull for. The Superman 2023 annual. Yeah. Then there's Sweet Paprika, Black, White, and Pink by Mirka Andolfo. Best continuing series. Check this out. 4 out of the 5. These aren't minis. These are ongoing series. 4 out of the 5 of these are DC Comics. The other one, which I'm rooting for, is Skybound, Image Skybound, which is Transformers by Daniel Warren Johnson. You have Wonder Woman by Tom King and Daniel Sampere, which isn't that bad. And the Sampere art really elevates Tom King's mediocre story. That Sampere art is fucking amazing. You have Shazam by Mark Waid and Dan Mora, which was best. I would they could have gotten that for Batman, Superman, and World's Finest. Not Shazam. Shazam wasn't that good. Not as good as World's Finest by the same team, the same battery. Nightwing by Tom Taylor and Bruno Redondo. Sure, I guess. And Birds of Prey by Kelly Thompson and Leonardo Romero. I'll go to bat for that. But the 5 of those 6 first issues of Birds of Prey were pretty darn good. That 5th issue with the pickup artist and just that crammed in story really messed. I felt like it messed with the I don't know. It was unnecessary. I just think that was that. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I'm rooting for Transformers here in Best Continuing Series. That's right. Best Limited Series, The Cull by Kelly Thompson. People have been raving about that. Kill Your Darlings. Same here. Superman Lost by Christopher Priest. Again, we look, no Marvel comics. You have a DC comic. You have a Superman story. You know, I read most of Superman Lost by Christopher Elise and Carlo Pagolan. That was a really interesting, decent story, in my humble opinion. But we also have Pee Pee Poo Poo by Caroline Cash from Silver Sprocket. This is what you get for having a librarian, you know. And IDW with another, you know, image with 2 as well. That's great. I mean, but yeah, notice no Marvel. Best New Series. Again, no Marvel. We got Local Man by Tim Seeley and Tony Fleeks on Image. That is, I stand behind that 110%. We got Somna, you Becky Cloonan. Sorry, Tula Lute, you're a wonderful artist, but I can't root for your book. You know what I mean? Sorry. Yeah, you got to be that way, then I got to be that way. You know, hey, and guess what? We're going that way. Yeah. Phantom Road by Jeff Lemire, who I think is doing a, you know, I'm not reading Phantom Road, but I am reading Fish Flies, and I think Fish Flies was the big darling last year. I'm not too sure. Like, let me know if I know. But Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees by Patrick Horwath, that should be. I hope that wins. Like, if it's not Local Man, I hope it's. But look, you got 3 Image, 1 IDW, and 1 Distillery. I mean. So, but Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees was fantastic. And it might have flown under your radar. 6 issues. It's going to make 1 really nice trade paperback or hardcover. And but yeah, The Local Man is a superhero. For me, it's a really fun superhero story. It plays so well with, you know, with your expectation of a superhero story. It's all new. And it just like it's fun. It's really fun. Let's see. Yeah. I would legit not show up even if I was nominated. I saw the group pick of the winners in 2023. I wouldn't want to be a pick with those people. Sure. But would you want to go to San Diego Comic-Con? Because that's where it's going to be. Exactly. Best publication for new readers. Wow. These are all. These aren't comic books. These aren't a comic book. I think was a floppy, and then you have collections of comic books, and then you also have, you know, graphic novels. You have illustrated stories for young readers as well, which I don't feel are comic books. Even manga. I don't think manga is a comic book. I forgot to even mention I got a manga this week. I did. You got Dragon Ball Super number 21. It's brand new this week. I've been reading this since issue 1 came out. So this is volume 1 came out. I've been buying this 3 or 4 times a year for about 5 years now. Yeah, something like that. It comes out 3 times a year, I think. And I'm kind of like 3/4 of the way done with it. And it's okay. And this is also Akira Toriyama's swan song too, so you got to respect that. So yeah, back to action. Back to action. as the Green Ranger or the Red Zeo Ranger would say. Do 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 do. Hold on 1 minute. I gotta hold on. There we go. Sorry about that. Something, hey, gravity bong break. Indeed, yeah. Take bigger hits, man. Puff, puff, give. You're fucking up the rotation, man. Best publications for kids. We just did this category. Early readers and kids. That's why you need a librarian in here because, the whole Eisner Award-winning thing looks great on your trade dress. It looks great with your agent. Let's see. Oni Press. Wow, huh? Let's see. Yeah. Mexi Kid by Pedro Martin. And Mahu by Scholastic Graphics. Yeah, Little Brown. Macmillan. Exactly. Best publications for teens. We have some Drawn in Quarterly. Yeah. Huh. Well, I've been following. Okay, with the best. Here's a suggestion from our channel to theirs. Tune into Ink Pulp. They're the Ink Pulp podcast. I was on Thinking Critical on New Year's Day with Eric Canetti, the artist, and we became Twitter friends, and we follow each other now. And so I can. Now I'm buying Arcathena, which is a great It's a great book. It's not a magazine. It's a book. It really is. And he's on this podcast with Matteo Scolari and this guy Sean Crystal, and it's really, really, really good comic book talk by creators in the craft. And I would totally tell you to subscribe to Ink Pulp. Let me just hold on 1 second. Here we go. I'm going to drop that in the link in the chat right here. Here you go. Subscribe to Ink Pulp, please. They're so good. They're very informative, and they were talking about Drawn in Quarterly, and they were talking about cancel culture, and how Craig Thompson, the author of Blankets and Habibi, got totally canceled on kind of like the regular kind of cancel culture thing online, and that Drawn in Quarterly dropped him, and that Blankets sold shitloads of fucking comic books. And Habibi, I got a copy of Habibi. I haven't read it yet. I got it as a gift. So it was like, oh, here, you're a comic book fan. Like, this is Habibi by Craig Thompson. This is this is like on everyone's lips. This is all the buzz. And apparently, they took Habibi and they took Blankets out of print. So nothing was selling, and that will sell. And it was a Drawn in Quarterly dropped him based upon manufactured outrage on the internet. And I learned this from Ink Pulp, from Sean Crystal, talking with Matteo Scolari and Eric Canetti. And this was a recent episode in the past 2 weeks. So check it out, man. This is a solid recommendation. If you like Perch, if you like Wes, if you like me, if you like Yule, if you like cartoonist kayfabe, maybe, or if you like, if you want some decent, these are actual fucking creators, people in this graphic arts publication industry. I love hearing this stuff. This is the stuff. This is my level of conversation as well. I like that because I see the publication industry. And this is what this is. We get so wrapped up into our stories and into our superheroes and into our intellectual properties and our franchises and our characters and our crises and our continuities and our canons. And sometimes we really lose fact. We lose perspective that this is the print periodical publication industry and books as well. It's so interesting. Paper publication in the 21st century, in the age of digital. It's all intertwined. It really is. Yeah, man. Yeah, Phil. Yeah, hopefully check it out. Let me know what you think. I love this level of conversation. It's really, check out the one about cancel culture. That is such an interesting one. And the other one, I'm watching them all in reverse, I guess, because I'm catching up with them. I just fell down the rabbit hole, and a lot of it has to do with, I love Eric Canetti. I love his delivery. I love his laconic voice. He's so fucking funny and he's so quick. And I love his background. And it's nice that like I've been on panels with him. Thank you, Wes. And I've become kind of like Twitter friends with him. So it's really, I love it. And then Matteo Scolari too. I mean, like his art is amazing. He did like in Black Science with Rick Remender, if you want an example of this guy's work. He's so good. And he brings such a really interesting European sensibility and sense of humor to the table. And just it's fun. Yeah. Ink Pulp. Check it out. Publications for kids. Sure. Best publications for teens. What we got here. My Girlfriend's Child. Okay. Lights by Brenna Thumler. Monstrous. A transracial adoption story by Sarah Meyer. Frontiera. And Danger is another art known by Ryan North. Penguin from Random House. All right. Blackbird by Drawn and Quarterly. That's what we were talking about, Drawn and Quarterly. And they dropped Craig Thompson. And I learned about this. And this was a recent conversation too, and they never mentioned Ed Piskor. And they didn't bring up Ed Piskor's cancellation in this, but they brought up this kid specifically. It was just part of the conversation. And it was like, just like, it was really interesting. Yeah, Craig Thompson. Blankets, Habibi. He was doing another one about tea makers in China, and he lived in China. Best humor publication. I think I contributed to this by buying It's Jeff, the Jeff Verse #1 by Kelly Thompson and Gyuri Hiro. I got this for one of my best friend's daughters. He's a young teenager and has 3 cats, and loved early Disney Star Wars and MCU. But now she's a teenager. I mean, it's hard to find out, what do they really like? They don't, I asked her too. I saw her a couple of weeks ago at her dad was playing the Porch Fest, and I was like, I was gonna bring you some comic books, kid. You get 15 now, and I've been giving her comic books for years, all her life, and I was gonna bring you some comic books, but I thought you'd outgrown it. And she was like, No, I'll always take comic books from you, man. And just Sully. And I'm like, okay, because I got a few for her, and it's Jeff, the Jeff Verse #1. I liked it, and so we finally have a Marvel comic in one of these nominations. All right, Marvel's getting its ass kicked by DC for nominations, right? But I guess Marvel is getting its way in sales though, so I guess everything, levels out. Okay, we got anthology. So this is from Zoop. We got Comics for Ukraine, and the publishing industry does not have a skewed bias of where it's coming from. Yeah. Marvel Age 1000, edited by Tom Brevoort. Another Marvel title, only our second so far, and that was actually ended up being a really interesting, and I found to be a really good book, especially that Silver Surfer's tale, and there's some Pepe Larraz in there. Yeah. Then we got The Outside, Trans and Non-Binary Comics, edited by The Cow, Min Christensen, and Data Daneman. And Swan Songs, this best anthologies, yes. The Devil's Cut, edited by Will Dennis from Distillery. So that's Distillery's second nomination. And we have The Deep Cuts by Kyle Higgins on Image. See, Image and Swan Songs on Image. Image get a lot. Are you willing? Best reality-based work. We got, from Drawn and Quarterly. Are you willing to die for the cause? Yeah. The Messenger, The Legend of Muhammad Ali by Mark Bernardin on Macmillan. Huh. Wow. I wonder what that's like. I love the story of Muhammad Ali. I'd look at that. Best graphic memoir. Yeah. Let's see. Best graphic album new. Now here comes some controversy because we have best graphic album, and we get split into two categories: new and reprint. And I think Yule's in an awkward position of being a comics retailer is on a panel that trashes current comic book industry. So it's a conflict of interest for why he isn't on more. Well, I'd suggest you watch Yule's show on Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Pacific every week. Fantastic Comic Presents. You should give him a subscribe and check out his channel too. And but I found that Yule brings his own unabridged, unapologetic voice to comics aficionados, as we all do. And it's one of the greatest hallmarks that I constantly receive a bit of feedback from that being on that show. And one of the hallmarks is the divergence of voices, that we are not an echo chamber. People seem to really appreciate and respect that intersection of voices, that we are not, that we argue about new shit sometimes. And I'm knee deep in that too. I'm always disagreeing with Drew. I'm always disagreeing with Wes, and it's fun because I like comics, and they respect. They might not like it themselves, but they can respect that I like it for salient reasons. And was that the one with Yule's? Yule has a. I'm on the lookout for it too. If I ever find a copy, I'm going to buy every copy I can just to send to him. But if you find this out in the wild, let me know. I am looking for Savage Dragon issue number 171. And that apparently has a cameo by Mr. Yule Carter inside this funny book. So if you catch this book in the wild, let me know. I want a copy. I want 2. I want 3. I want to keep one, and I'm going to send a bunch to him. So here we go. The controversy in this year's Eisner Awards. So didn't you even think about this? You didn't know any better? You're going to put these people in the same room? Best graphic album. Now that's just split into two categories: new and reprint. So therein lies the difference. All right. So you have Ashes by Alvaro Ortiz, Eden 2 by Kay Rutten, A Guest in the House by Emily Carroll, Roaming by Mariko Tamaki and Jillian Tamaki on Drawn and Quarterly. But you have Parasocial, which is by Alex DeCampi and Erica Henderson on Image. Then you have over here on Best Graphic Album reprint. You have Doctor Strange by Trad Moore, Wonder Woman Historia, Kelly Sue DeConnick, Phil Jimenez and Company, Orange Complete Series Set, The Good Asian by Pornsak Pinochet. We've seen his name twice. And we have Hip Hop Family Tree, The Omnibus by Ed Pigscore on Fantagraphics. And we all know the correlation between Alex DeCampi and Ed Pigscore. And so we have some outrage and umbrage that how dare you nominate them in the same thing, but they are literally two different categories. They're correlated. They're very close to each other, and imagine if you had some family members of Mr. Pigscore in attendance, just in to accept the award on his behalf posthumously. after his self-deletion, after his cancellation, which was contributed to by Mr. Campy and others, Mr. Villalobos as well, just to name two. But what if Mr. Campy is in the same audience? Well, wow. Talk about, but hey, I mean, just, it's out there. Best adaptation from another medium. HP, The Monkey King. That's an old story. Watership Down. H.P. Lovecraft's The Shadow over Innsmouth. Dark Horse Manga. We had Viz and Macmillan. So you see, like, I hope you're noticing, like, lots of different publishers, like Macmillan, Penguin Random House. They're not just a distributor, They, Pantheon Books. It's because this is the first time I've seen Dark Horse on this list. Seven Seas. I mean, geez. So Marvel has 3 in this. Best U.S. editions of international materials. Interesting. Oh, throw another fire. Let's throw another Becky Cloonan book on the fire. Sorry. Best U.S. editions of international material, Asia. So this Viz, Drawn and Quarterly, Yen Press. Kodanesha. I can't. Sorry. But before anything starts with my butchering of other people's languages, it happens. Best archivals. Popeye Sundays. Wow. Walt Disney's Silly Symphonies, 1932 to 1935. Bucky Bug, Donald Duck. Wow, that's fantastic. Fantagraphics too. It's interesting stuff. Best archival collection project, comic books. Let's see. Michael Golden's Marvel Stories, edited by Scott Dunbier and released on IDW. Hey, cool. 2000 AD. Hey. And best writer. Okay, here we go. Best writer, we got Mariko Tamaki on Roaming, Tom Taylor on Nightwing and Titans, Kelly Thompson on Birds of Prey, Harley Quinn, and Captain Marvel, and it's Jeff, and Mark Waid for Batman, Superman, Shazam, World's Finest Teen Titans. But then we have G. Willow Wilson for Poison Ivy and Hunger and the Dusk, both which are really good titles. I'm pulling for G. Willow Wilson here. I think that Poison Ivy is something that we are all sleeping on, and that heck, I should be picking that up in floppy because I'm that impressed with it. I should be paying attention to my own rules, that if it's that good, you should be picking it up and paying for it, and just like, helping out the store, helping out the sales of the magazine, just being like, just, hopefully I'll get a meter at a con someday and be like, thank you for these wonderful books. The best writer/artist. And you know who I'm pulling for here? I'm pulling for Daniel Warren Johnson in Transformers. Yeah. Look, we got Macmillan, Abrams Comic Arts, Yen Press, Wow. Clementine Book 2. I've never even heard of this. That's on Skybound as well. Remember, Skybound isn't just for Energon Universe. Skybound has been Robert Kirkman's imprint at Image for like a decade now, which has Walking Dead and which has Invincible, they've both adapted into television very well. Best penciler/inker or penciler-inker team, Jason Sean Alexander, Detective Comics. Yes, dude, that is amazing. Dan Mora is on here too. We got Chris Samney as well, and Tula Lote, who's just he had a Comixology original here, and that's with she's been doing that with Scott Snyder, Barnstormers, but Jason Sean Alexander on tech, was blew my little mind. While you have all this foolishness going on over on Zdarsky's Batman, and you get some great art by Jorge Jimenez, over on Tech, you've had Ram V's long, slow burn. And it's just my cup of tea, man. I love it. Best painter, multimedia artist, Liam Sharp. That's cool. Martin Simmons, that's great. Jason John Alexander again for Zombie Love Studio. Best cover artist, Jen Vartel, Even Cagle, Jenny Frisson. Good for you, kid. But Peach Momoko has been nominated for an Eisner. You know it. I know it. That's woo. Yeah, eat a peach, like the Allman Brothers said, huh? Ha ha! Good for you. And Dan Mora as well. Dan Mora does wonderful covers. But he's a lot dependent on his colorist. I'll tell you that much. But Peach Momoko is an all-in-one package. You know what I mean? She does her own coloring. And you know I love Peach Momoko. That's great. Best coloring. I mean, okay, this is the cynic in me that just wants to maybe even be just a little hurtful to people. No, I don't want to be hurtful or anyone or punch down. But, I mean, Dave McKeag's Sacrificers is amazing. I mean, the Conan the Barbarian book is amazing, too. And you got Jordi Belair, whose name is literally everywhere over comics. Same as with Matt Hollingsworth. These people get, and Marvel, here's a Marvel finally. But here's the rub. I mean, best coloring. Exactly. I'll give it to her. She's married. I can't give her anything. I know. Exactly. Don't covet a married woman. Don't thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's goods and stuff. And, but best coloring, I mean, shouldn't this be like best coding and clicking and pointing? I said it. Okay. Barely anyone knows how to color by hand anymore. And also it's just about, like I was saying earlier, about newsprint versus Baxter pages versus the glossy pages, being in how colored ink takes to paper and how it looks under a light source, not from a backlit panel, from your tablet or your phone. We're talking about pages and light and physical, so best coloring. I hope, I've been a big fan of Sacrificers, and I think the coloring has been really well. I wish that something like Rare Flavors by Graham V and Felipe Andrade, I think deserves to be on this list. That's a glaring omission, in my humble opinion. We have best lettering. Okay. Once again, well, lettering, is it done by hand or is it done just in pre-selected fonts that are generated on your computer? I see Hazan Atsmani Allahu, his name has been popping up everywhere, especially on the covers of these, Image, Dark Horse, and Boom books. It's like he negotiated it with his agent, or his lettering is actually of a caliber, that it deserves. He brings something to the table. He does. I would totally see him getting the Eisner this year. It's like, you ever see Zoolander? He's like it's like what Mugatu said about Hansel. He's so hot right now. Yeah. Hassani Atsmani Allahu. He's so hot right now. He's Hansel, and I see him getting this. Russ Wooten, though, I want to say that his work on Transformers is amazing. I mean, I could really hear I can hear the cartoon through the word balloons, and I like such as he gets creative too, with the color of the word balloons. Sometimes it works, sometimes it falls flat for me. In Transformers itself, it's cartoony enough that it works, and especially with the electronic sounding voices of the Transformers themselves, specifically Optimus Prime and Soundwave of the Decepticons, who himself has that very electronic and unique voice. Best comic-related periodical / journalism. Who gives a shit? The comics journalism. Best comic-related books. These are, related books. See? All right. Academic scholarly work. The Claremont Run, Subverting Gender in the X-Men by J. Andrew Deeman, University of Texas Press. I think a big mistake is treating comic books as though they're literature. Once in a blue moon, something can pop up and be literature. But for the most part, Alan Moore is right. These are juvenile stories for juvenile people who just want to escape a little bit. And Visible Archives, Queer and Feminist Visual Culture in the 1980s, University of Minnesota Press. Sure. I mean, yeah. And best publication design. That's cool. Anything I know of? Iron Maiden, Peace of Mind. I wonder if that's from the just like years, like 50 years of Iron Maiden album covers. That would be cool. Best web comic. I'm pretty sure there's wow, all these all these links work. That's cool. Best web comic, best digital comic. Guess what's the difference between is one collect? These must be collections. Well, Friday by Ed Brubaker and Marcos Martin, volume 7 and 8. I mean, you got some friggin' firepower just right there. Seriously. And that's it. And then we have Hall of Fame nominees. You got Gassariola, Eddie Campbell. Okay. He did From Hell, yeah. Mike Friedrich, Don Heck. Yes, please. Klaus Johnson. Yes, please. He should be going in the Hall of Fame. Yeah. And Klaus Johnson is just wonderful. I met him. And he's the prize of my spinner rack is my Daredevil 175 that I had signed by him and Frank Miller. That was nice. Jim Lee. Yes. I don't do the Jim Lee hate. And I don't care that he's a poor corporate executive officer, whatever the hell he is. He should be publisher emeritus. He's a good spokesman. He's our Stanley. He should be out there just like at cons, on shows, pimping the product, drawing, smiling, talking about, he's got kids, he's got a family man. Sure, he's had a couple of families, but he's successful. He was a successful individual, And Mike Mignola. Yeah, sure. I'm not going to let my personal feelings interfere with his achievements artistically. Why? How could I? Mike Royer. Let's see. Who else? Leonard Starr. Jill Thompson. Yes, please. Sure. Oh, God. That work she did on Sandman and on The Invisibles. Come on, dude. She's got some good shit. And the judges choose 19 for the Hall of Fame. Yeah. Indeed. And see the judge's choice. Just they go right into the Hall of Fame. Okay. Yeah. George Tuska. Lynn Varley, colorist. Yes. I mean, talk about coloring, hand coloring. She used to color Frank Miller stuff, her former husband. And she did Ronin and the original Batman 1986 Dark Knight Returns. And then she did DK2 in 2001 using digital colors. And it was actually quite vibrant. And because it was new then, you know what I mean? This was just, it had some newness once. But, let's see. Oh, yeah, James Warren, huh? Published Warren Magazine. Dude, yeah. That's where horror magazines went after the Comics Code Authority seal of approval. I remember when Jim Lee was so cool. He was on MTV, which was very, yeah. But that's it. Yeah. And those are the Eisner Awards. Huh. And here are our nominating committee. Let's see which one's there are 6 members to the nominating committee, as we learned on the wiki. Let's see who they are. Ryan Clater. All right. NC Christopher Couch. Okay. Andrea Gilroy, owner of she's the owner of an LCS, or see, and then there's Joseph Ilridge. Finally, some diversity. Matthias Lewis, and like, geez, 6 people, only 1 person of color, no Asian people, no Latino people. It's very white, huh? Jillian Roods is the founder of Manga and Libraries, an organization that provides manga readers. You know what I mean? With serves as a school librarian at a grade 6 to 12 public school in New York City. And these are librarians, the great gatekeepers. They are the brown shirts of the lefty progressives on the street on a street level. Yeah. Seriously, think about it. Did I just say that? Or was I thinking that? Can they hear me? Pika, can they hear me? Well, that's about it. Yeah, we talked about the Eisner Awards. We talked about all the new releases this week. We got a couple of crowdfunding comics that came through this week, which is awesome. And we've also played What's in the Bag. We go to the comic book shop every week here in this household. We go to our local comic book shops in this house. Okay. I don't go to church once a week, but I go to my local comic book shop once a week. I don't pay a tithe or put money in the collection basket. I put money in the cash register at my LCS, my local comic book shop. That's where I get my supplies. I get my bags. I get my boards. I get my boxes there. And I get all my comic books there too. And I go there usually once a week, every Wednesday, New Comic Book Day, the traditional New Comic Book Day. Yes, that day has changed over the years here and there and everywhere. And hello, AL. How are you? Touching grass and checking in with the stream. Happy birthday to your husband as well. I hope you and your family are having the most excellent day today and hanging out. And thank you for saying hello. Pikachu appreciates it too. My Pikachu loves seeing your Pikachu. It just happens. You know what I mean? It's just like cousin, that kind of shit, And but yeah, that's it for today's show. Thank you so very much for tuning in today. Please go back to your local comic book shop and spend some money there, spend some time there, talk to the staff, have some conversation. Once again, I've gotten into some heated conversations, yes, but never the level of umbrage and outrage and hurt feelings and ferocity and viciousness. That is just not welcome in an LCS, in my experience of going to them for 40 years. Hands-on it in Boston, Massachusetts. I've been going to local comic book shops for over 40 years. Okay. And, oh, hi, Nuke. How's it going? I got Fiendish 2.5 by Irene Stokowski in the mail. And I also got Billy Tucci's Private Commissions, issue 35 of 39, it's an art book. And I love Billy Tucci's art. And it's good stuff. Yeah, and a big ass lithograph too. You might see that in the background here. I love the Irish women. Constructive criticism, indeed. Well, cool. Well, thank you so very much for tuning in today and spending some time talking about the new comic books out there. Let me know in the comments section. What are you reading this week? What are you picking up? What are you putting down? Who do you want to win the Eisner Awards? Indeed. And but thank you so very much for tuning in. We'll be back on Wednesday, 4 p.m. U.S. Eastern on new release day when we preview this week's new comic books, and we'll do it all again on Sunday, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern with the review show, the live stream, and we all get to hang out. Thank you so very much. God bless. Namaste. Good luck. And we will see you in those funny pages. Ciao. Bye-bye. And thank you so much for tuning in. Okay. Bye. Thanks, Pika. Ha-ha.